Now, as we are in the holy month of Ramadan, I have decided to do a video on 5 plants, herbs, foods that were recommended by the Prophet, peace be upon him, during the course of his life. These are herbs and plants that will help you in terms of your fasting, when you break your fast, but also in terms of your health overall going forward. So you know me, I don't waste time. My name is Nigeli, I'm a medical herbalist, and let's get straight into it. Now, the first plant I'm going to talk about is a very popular and powerful one that the Prophet, peace be upon him, once said that this plant can cure everything but death, and that is black seed, aka Nigella sativa. I've got the seed here, but I'll put a picture here, as well as the oil, and I use both. In fact, I'm going to tell you a personal story of what black seed did to me when I started taking it. Now, what are the powerful benefits of black seed? First of all, it's full of antioxidants, which can help fight the free radicals in the body. It's also powerfully anti-inflammatory, not just locally, but systemically too. So it can help in the dealing with chronic diseases and also in the prevention of chronic diseases. It's great for digestive issues, especially those that, lead to ulcers. If you have breast pain during your periods, you can also use the oil to rub to help deal with that. If you are a hay fever sufferer, it's also an antihistamine. It also helps lower blood pressure. In fact, you have to be careful when taking it with amlodipine, which is a very popular blood pressure medication, because it can lower the blood pressure too much. It also helps in the management of blood sugar. So you have to be careful if you're taking diabetes medication, because guess what? It can lower the blood sugar too much. It's also cancer fighting, and that's partly due with its active compound thymoquinone, which I'm going to put the name here. So it helps with a range of cancers: pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, and so on. On top of that, it is very and powerfully antibacterial, not just with the minor ones, but gangster. And I'm just going to read a line about what one of the studies said. One study showed that black seed successfully dealt with methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus MRSA that's difficult to treat in over half of the samples that were tested. But that is not all. Not only will it help you in cases of metabolic syndrome, so that leads to things like stroke, it also helps lower cholesterol. On top of that, it also helps improve lung health. So sometimes it's used in cases of COPD. And if you want to do the beauty side of it, it can help you keep your hair nice, long and luscious, and help with hair loss. So you can add it to your hair cream. You've got acne, you can also add it to your skin cream. But just to also let you know, it can thin the blood. So if you are having surgery where it's important that your blood is able to clot, please stop taking black seed at least 2 weeks before the surgery. Dosage wise, I would say half a teaspoon a day is perfectly fine. But I hope you fully understand why this plant deserves the top spot. But if that is not going to let you do that, let me tell you my own personal story. Now, me, sometimes I feel really, really, really tired. And I had accepted the fact that I need like 8, 9, 10 hours of sleep a day. I thought that that was my normal. And then one of my herbalists during one of the clinics I used to attend for my clinical hours suggested mixing black seed with turmeric and a little bit of honey. And then I decided that morning on an empty stomach, that was what I was going to do. Let me tell you, I think it got to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and I didn't realize how the time had flown. I was cleaning the house and then I realized the sun was coming back up because it was summer. So it was quite early. And I was like, wait, what? And the energy I'd had that day shocked me. I was like, wait, what did I do differently? Then I realized I took the honey, black seed, and the turmeric. And then I was like, okay, let me try it again the next day. I tested it. I did it again. And let me just tell you, it got to the point where I had to force myself to go to sleep, not because I was tired, but I just thought it was ridiculous that I had so much energy. And it continued that way as long as I was taking the black seed. But what I realized is that my tiredness wasn't, this is how I am. It was because something was wrong systemically. And thanks to the black seed, as well as the honey and the turmeric, I found that out and I learned my powerful lesson. Now, I mentioned honey. Honey is the next one we're going to deal with. Now, I'm going to read something about what was said so that you can see why it was included in this list. It said that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Eat honey. There is no house in which honey is kept for which the angels will not ask for mercy. If a person eats honey, 1,000 remedies enter his stomach and 1,000,000 diseases will come out." Why is honey so amazing? First of all, is its antioxidants. Now, in the case of honey, we've got the flavonoids, we've also got the phenolic acids, which help, as I mentioned before, in terms of antioxidants in general, fight the free radicals that cause systemic damage in the body. So in the case of honey, these can help fight inflammation. It's also protective of brain health. It also helps in terms of premature aging. And on top of that, it helps prevent things like heart disease. Now, depending on where the bees get their nectar from, you can also find a range of vitamins within the honey, such as magnesium, manganese, and phosphorus. If you get the raw honey, the proper stuff like these here, you can see the consistency of that honey, then you can also find some propolis in there, which has been known to help in terms of cholesterol. Now, we used to use this, or we still use it actually, in terms of traditional remedies like coughs, colds, when you mix the honey with the lemon. And honey has been found to be very helpful in coughs. It's also antibacterial and antimicrobial. So traditionally, it's also been used, and actually currently too, in terms of wounds and minor burns. Now, I just want to say that not all honey is the same. If you want to get the medicinal benefits of the honey, and you're going to the shops to buy it, look for something that says raw honey. I'm often side-eyeing the honey that I'm seeing, especially the ones that are like water and just pouring in the jar. The medicine comes from the proper stuff, and it has often not a different consistency. So this is the honey that I have got directly from the hive. And over the long term, what you might find is that the honey starts to crystallize, which is very normal behavior. So my advice would be, if you can get directly from the beekeeper, please get directly from the beekeeper. Or you can go to a farmer's market where they have gotten directly from the beekeeper, and then you can be assured of the medicinal benefit of that honey. But let me also tell you now, it is a sugar. So don't think that, oh my gosh, this is powerfully medicinal, I'm going to down this in one day. So do also be careful with how much honey you are indeed taking. But I could also see why the Prophet, peace be upon him, said what he said about honey, because it really is amazing. The next one that the Prophet, peace be upon him, mentioned is olives, Olea europaea. And one of the things that he's said to have said is, eat olive oil and anoint yourselves with it, for it comes from a blessed tree. He also said that it can cure 70 diseases, which makes me ever grateful, because olive oil is something that I use often in terms of my cooking, but also in terms of my creams. And when I'm infusing oils, I prefer to use olive oil. And this is an olive oil that, oddly enough, my Muslim friend had got me as a gift when she came to visit my house. So I'm feeling very blessed about this. But let's talk about the amazing wonders of olive oil. Many of us know about olive oil because it's one of the big features in the Mediterranean diet, which is considered to be one of the healthiest diets in the world. Now, olive oil is full of healthy fats, and we need fat. Without fat, we would not be here. We could not exist. Now, one of these healthy fats is oleic acid. I'll put the spelling there. Now, this has been found to be very protective of the heart, also helps in terms of the fight of cancer, also helps in terms of the prevention of osteoporosis. On top of that, it's very anti-inflammatory and has a positive effect on cholesterol, blood pressure, as well as the gut. Now, one of the other compounds contained within olive oil is oleocanthal. Now, not only does this have an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant property, it also has neuroprotective properties, so it has a positive effect on brain health. Now can you see why the Prophet, peace be upon him, would have said it can cure over 70 diseases? But you do know that we're not just talking about the fruit here. The leaf is also very medicinal and something that we use often in our practice as herbalists. So we use it in cases of hypertension because it has hypertensive properties, but also it can be used in cases of angina pectoris, which is where you get chest pain, which is as the result of not enough oxygenated blood going to the heart. So do not sleep on the olive. The next one I'm going to talk about is a plant that the Prophet, peace be upon him, mentioned to eat when you're breaking your fast, and that is dates. The Latin name for this plant is Ficus dactylifera. That's it. I'm going to put the spelling there. And what the Prophet said, peace be upon him, is if anyone is fasting, let him break his fast with dates. In case he does not have them, then with water. Now, when you're breaking your fast, it's important to eat something that is nutritious and healthy in terms of harnessing the benefits of fasting. And so dates is great for that because it's nutritionally rich. Not only does it have the protein and also the fiber that is great for your gut health, but it contains loads of vitamins and minerals like vitamin B6, like manganese, like magnesium, like copper, like iron. On top of that, even though it's got lots of sugar, it has a low glycemic index. And that glycemic index is basically a measure of how quickly your blood sugar spikes when you're eating something. And so a low glycemic index is good. On top of that, it has the antioxidants, which I've mentioned the benefits before. It contains the flavonoids, it contains carotenoids, and it also contains the phenolic acids. So it's protective of heart health, it's anti-inflammatory, and also cancer fighting. But there is something even more about dates, and I'm just going to read something to you, and that is about its neuroprotective properties. So laboratory studies have found dates to be helpful in lowering inflammatory markers such as interleukin 6 in the brain. High levels of interleukin 6 are associated with a higher risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Imagine. It can also help in terms of your brain health. But did you also know that dates can help you have an easier labor? So if you start eating dates 2 weeks before you're about to give birth, it can help you in terms of your labor. But don't listen to me. Let's just read what one of the studies said. A 2017 study of 154 pregnant people found that those who ate dates were much less likely to be induced compared to those who did not. So dates is a wonderful fruit that you can eat, and you can also use it as a sweetener. So one of the things that I love to do is to cut pieces of dates when I'm making my oats. Try it and you will thank me. So that's dates. Now, another plant that was mentioned and recommended by the Prophet, peace be upon him, is figs. The Latin name is Ficus, carica. I'm going to put the spelling there. This has, again, a range of benefits, but let me just go into some of them for you. First of all, it contains a lot of fiber, and fiber is important. It helps us clear our bowels, but let me just explain that clearing our bowels is very important. This is one of the ways in which our bodies get rid of excess, like excess hormones and waste and toxic products, is through the bowels. The other thing is our gut bacteria, that this fiber actually feeds our good gut bacteria. And the population and the types of bacteria you have in our gut has such a knock-on effect in so many things in our body. It affects how our immune system works, but even affects things like our mood. So depression has also been linked to what's going on in your gut. The other thing is that this also has a very high amount of vitamins and minerals contained within it. So for example, it contains potassium, phosphorus, vitamin K, magnesium, calcium, riboflavin, thiamine, and vitamin B6. And contained within that is some of the great vitamins and minerals needed for bone health. On top of that, because of this high amount of potassium, if you're suffering from high blood pressure that's as a result of an imbalance between the potassium and sodium, so you have a lot of sodium in your diet and not enough potassium, this can help with that by balancing it out. But also because there's fiber and it helps you with the excretion, it can also help you excrete the excess sodium in your body and therefore help with your blood pressure. Now, this plant also has a high amount of copper. When I say copper, think of creation of connective tissues, formation of blood cells, as well as the creation of neurotransmitters. And on top of that, it has a high amount of antioxidants. Now, I have spoken about antioxidants throughout this, so you can see the benefits that figs have had. So, to my Muslim brothers and sisters, I am wishing you a very blessed month of Ramadan. I hope you have learned something about the amazing things that the Prophet, peace be upon him, has said, and the medicinal benefits of a lot of the things that he has mentioned for us to eat and to break our fast with. I hope that all your du'as and your prayers and your fasts are accepted in this holy month of Ramadan. And if you're interested in learning more about the herbs and their benefits, please do subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Wishing you a blessed and happy Ramadan.